Hello everybody, IMakeLevels here, and welcome back. So, today we're taking a look at a mod. Technically it's a mod. It's sort of released as separate BSP files for the maps. And it's called Operation X, made by Funmaster New, I believe that is his name. I know nothing about this author. He hasn't released any other files on ModDB. There was a very short description for this mod. There was no comments and no reviews when I checked this. Full disclosure, I played this yesterday blind. Normally when I do videos I do it blind, so when you see me or watch me get frustrated or stuck in a puzzle, that is like super genuine. I'm not like, I know exactly what to do here. I got through this puzzle in 7 seconds. No, I spent 20 minutes looking for the X, you know, the MacGuffin, to get through it. And I think that's important normally in blind playthroughs because, you know, it's like a person's first time experience. They're not gonna... Most people won't go through a second time unless they really enjoyed something. So, I've played this before, and as I was cleaning up my video, I was like, I was super negative about this, and it's not a great mod. I don't know if it's the author's first time creating something. But I decided to go through again after watching Domo's video and maybe trying to be a bit more positive, so this video is going to be slightly different from my normal stuff in that I'm going to have a lot more like, here's what I would do, or here's what I would find more fun, or more explanation on why I don't like X and what I would do differently. And there's going to be repeated themes. One of them is doors that look identical to each other that are not openable that are openable. That is repeated throughout the mod, and I really hate it. On a global sense, not just in this mod, so there's that. Yeah, I don't have anything to deal with these enemies here. I don't remember where I'm supposed to go. Run, climb! So in this first section, I don't know, usually you're able to deal with enemies that you're presented with, and you do have some barrels and other fizzob props that you can try to hit them with a gravity gun, but they're so far away that in my blind playthrough I didn't kill anything. I launched all the barrels. There was like 3 or 4 barrels in that first room and a crate, and it didn't really work out. If you want to sort of train the player to run away from enemies that are shooting at you, it kind of needs to be trained and a bit of a smooth experience, and jumping into water and then trying to climb out while a manhack is attacking you and stuff. It's a bit too much to deal with, and I mean, thankfully these guys don't do very much damage, but it's still enough that someone potentially... And there's not a lot of, or any, really, health in that arena there, so there's a likely potential for someone that's not terribly great at Half-Life 2 dying in that very first part, just because they're trying to figure out what to do, and you know, they're trying to run away from stuff and getting shot, and they're like, ah, and then they just get overwhelmed and they die. This guy. Jeez. So this very first part is almost a decent example of folded level design. I don't know if that's like the actual name for it. You kind of see the rest of the... Like, we end up in this play space a little bit, but it's... And over there, and it's not super great because you can't really interact with it a bit. it very much. I think one of the better examples of folded level design is the part in episode 2 where you're going to get the car over the bridge and Alex is on the sniper rifle, because from that initial overlook you can see the entire area, and as you go through the level, you know, like, you can always trace back the sniper laser sight or whatever it is to where Alex is. Where is this last guy? Alright. First area here. I'm not crazy about shooting through transparent surfaces, because it's wholly transparent. If these were, I don't know, it's hard to explain. If these were like if that was solid and this wasn't, you know, if it was more like a chain link fence where if you hit the post it blocks the bullet, but if you hit through the chain part it goes through. I don't know, it's a personal thing. There's also like absolutely nothing up here to protect me from the enemies shooting at me. I don't really feel like I can move around at all. And my main protection is staying here. And I think there's a couple of explodables down there, but it's such a busy space, like with all the rails and the transparent textures, like it's just information overload trying to find where the people are that are shooting at me and then to kill them before they kill me. It's a bit rough. If this was, I don't know. I'm gonna ignore this one because it's really small. This is another thing that repeats itself. Metro cops. There's a lot of Metro cops in the beginning portion of this. And there's a lot of combat where there's no cover in the play space. So your two choices are, I'm gonna stay here and shoot at someone and do this around a door corner, which personally I hate. Or I'm gonna run in here and we're gonna shoot at each other and one of us is gonna die. Most likely it's them, but you know, eventually someone will kill me if I don't have enough health or shields or something. I'm a firm believer in the more cover is in an environment, then the more choices that the player has and the more choices that the enemies have in terms of like, I'm going to take cover here or there, and then I'm going to move to here, or I'm going to stand up and shoot at the player. And adding cover into an environment just makes it better. Like, there's like if it's an empty area, adding one piece of cover like automatically makes it better. No matter where it is, probably. You can probably find some faulty logic with that. That's not to say that like fill this with 70 barrels and there you go, you have like all kinds of cover, because everyone can do you know, an infinite amount of things in terms of, you know, the amount of choice grows exponentially the more things of cover you add in. But then your choices become meaningless. It's like, I can hide here or here, but there's no meaning to it, so that doesn't make it better. So there's obviously a balancing act in terms of how you want to steer the player and how much cover you want there to be. I'm getting shot from somewhere. I think he's like way up there somewhere. Did he even say taking cover? Metro cops don't take cover very often, even if the environment is like set up for it, I think. They have like a different suite of AI than the Combine do. So I wouldn't even use them at all. I'm not crazy about Metro Cops. All they use is the pistols or the batons, and if you're ramping up an experience, it's all good because they're really easy to kill and stuff. But even things like this, right? Like, you don't really have, especially when an enemy is behind a chain link fence, like, you have no other option other than pistol. Shoot them with a pistol. And there's no choice to be made here. It's just, I'm gonna stand here and I'm gonna shoot you, and maybe I need to duck in here to reload, or I'm getting low on health or something, and I need to pick my shots more carefully. But there's no tactical decision or choice to make. There's not, you know, if there were like stairs leading up there, maybe I can like rush him to get up there, or if there was an exploding barrel there, I could wait for him to reposition to get near it and then shoot the barrel to explode him, to blow him up. And none of that exists in this mod, and that's a real shame. All of the combat, for the most part, is fairly straightforward and just kind of uninteresting. I don't know why this guy is doing this. I suspect that since these are Metro Cops, I don't know if they have the same squad AI as Combine Soldiers do, in terms of, like, I'm in a squad with person B shoots at Gordon, so person A knows where Gordon is, kind of thing. That's in the Combine squad AI. I don't know about these guys. If he's just sitting here looking at nothing, it's kind of weird. If this was the very first enemy we encounter, I wouldn't have a problem with it if there was, you know, something in this room to justify him looking at a corner. That'd be fine, but he literally heard me kill that guy right outside the door. So from a logical perspective, this guy should be like, someone's coming, I need to, you know, flip over a table and hide behind it and take cover behind it because someone's coming, and pew pew pew, and, you know, it would make it a more logical experience of, oh crap, that guy totally knew I was coming and he set up like an ambush spot, even if it was not wholly effective. Carrying on. I believe that is the door that I was looking out of when I said this is a good example, the best example, I guess, of full level design in this whole mod. I don't remember which door is unlocked, so those are locked. Most likely. Map number 2! There's 5 maps in this. And when I played through it blind, my total video length was 90 minutes. It was really, really long. I was talking about stuff I didn't like a lot. And hopefully this won't be as long. Hey, buddy! So, again, repeated themes. Enemies that I have a pistol to engage with, but it's not terribly great at these huge distances. And the safest recourse is to hide behind, you know, these doors and do this. Luckily, there's a zombie in here, so they don't really target me all that much. Am I even hitting this guy? Couldn't tell. First time I played this zombie was not here. He stayed in here. I don't know how that happened this time, but okay. And see, there's just, like, what is this space? I have absolutely no idea. It doesn't look like anything. It looks maybe like an interior courtyard, but there's absolutely no cover to protect me from this guy. There's no cover for the enemies. Even where, like, this could function as cover, but it's not hinted properly. So even where cover looks like it would work, the enemies still don't take cover because it's not properly hinted. And I hate stairs when people build stairs like this. Just just to get that out of the way. I think this is one of the better areas in terms of providing supplies for the player to kill enemies with the gravity gun. There were other areas that don't have many props. I think if we... I don't remember who it is. It's one of the... It's like Jim Partridge or maybe Maki or maybe Dan. I don't know who said it, but they said, like, if you're gonna give the player the gravity gun, or they said, like, it's not a Half-Life 2 mod unless you give the player the gravity gun. And I agree with that, and also that if you give the player the gravity gun, you need to support it through combat everywhere, so that you can, you know, have things to shoot at enemies with the gravity gun. And for a vast majority of this, there isn't good stuff. Hey, like, well, I guess boxes. If I remember right, it's this one. Yeah. So this was the start of my downward descent into complaining when I played this blind initially. This is a combat encounter with 4 enemies. Let's ignore the whole, there's a Strider over there and some camera drones and stuff. This is a really non-interesting combat space. Because it's, and some people might write it off like, it's 4 enemies, you kill them in like 30 seconds and then you move on. That is the entirety of Half-Life 2. It's like combat encounter after combat encounter, and just trying to rationalize like, you're through the space in like, you know, 30 seconds or a minute. Get over it, you know, move on. That's a really bad trap to fall into. If anyone's built like a tutorial level for a retail game, you know that you've probably spent months on that. And the amount of time spent in terms of work for the amount of time the player's in the area it's like hundreds to 1. So my suggestion for this space, even though it's only 4 enemies, is cover for the player to, you know, engage in the space, cover for the enemies in the space as well. I don't think they'll take cover behind this, but it's like there and a distraction, and you can use it as, you know, physobs for the gravity gun. Enemy, like, up in the window, maybe, like they're going through the apartments or something, and they kind of start shooting at you from a balcony or something, just so that, as a player, like, I have the tactical choice of, do I need to shoot at these people? Do I need to switch to gravity gun and grab the box and kill them? Do I need to, like, duck down here while this other guy's shooting at me and try to take him out while these other guys on the ground are redeploying or trying to gain a position on me from the sides? And then, see, it's like, if these were something static and maybe there was, you know, another car here, that's 3 pieces of cover in the environment. If there were 3 enemies plus an enemy on a balcony, that's not difficult, right? It's like super easy, and it reduces the likelihood that a player is just going to sit here and do this. Especially if the enemies are facing that way and not towards the player, so that you can kind of, you know, like, I see them up there, I see them down there, and I can engage the combat when I want to, rather than I open the door and we're shooting at each other. So, something to think about. I don't know. I don't really intend my videos to be like a here's how to make your mod better. Even though it might sound like that happens sometimes. At the very least, I hope people just, at the very least, you get a differing perspective on an experience than perhaps you had. Wasn't expecting you. Someone might have played this and absolutely loved it, and they're not wrong. It's, you know, it's an opinion and it's an experience and stuff. This is just from my perspective. I would hope that someone might learn something or get new ideas for something. That sometimes doesn't always happen. So, alright, this one's shooting at me. It might have been the second one. One of these broke for me, where they didn't shoot at me at all. And it was like I was seriously just wandering around out here. Maybe it was the second one. I think Domo summed it up quite well in his video of I'm completely safe right here with my item to kill said Strider. And it doesn't, you know, I'm extremely safe. And that if the devices were out here in the middle, then it would make more, you know, I need to like time when I need to run out there, and if there was stuff to hide behind, that would also obviously be better. My idea for this space was sort of connected with this. If the enemies are in the apartments, then it kind of, you can make the logical deduction that like they're, you know, rounding up people or something. So if this Strider, like if you come across here, you see the Strider like blowing a hole in this thing. Mainly I came up with that because this is a really weird transition out of this space. It's like random arbitrary ladder through random arbitrary window. Why? Who knows? It doesn't really make sense. But if the Strider is attacking like rebels in this building, then it would kind of make more sense. And having a Strider blow up something is always, almost always a good thing. And then obviously just more cover in this environment to support actually moving into and engaging in the space rather than hiding behind here where these are. Since these are like one-hit kills, I really wouldn't even use these, maybe? Or maybe have them I don't know, if you can't really see what these are from far away, so it might not be great. But if these were out here in the environment, and instead you have, like, rockets and stuff, so, again, giving the player a tactile choice of, like, there's a couple rockets here, and there's another couple rockets here in the middle, so I can deal with the Strider with the rockets, or I can, like, risk it and go for the thing that kills them in one shot. Maybe that's a consideration. This huge area, though, just supports one Strider. And it's a bit of a shame. It is still rather early in the game, like all I have is a pistol and an SMG. But a pistol and an SMG against a Strider is already negated, like it's not going to do anything. So if there were just a few more enemies in here to support the Strider, even if they're dealing with the rebels, so it's... You're not in immediate danger, but you can, you know, as I was saying here, you can choose when to engage the enemies if they're, you know, down here shooting at rebels in the building, and then the Strider blows it up, and then, you know, they start walking this way, so they eventually run into the to the player. Then maybe that would be more interesting than just a Strider walking in circles. Hopefully. And then this guy, I don't know what that guy's doing. And, yeah, this is just more the same of, like, I have no choice to. I can always just, you know, Geronimo in here and engage with these enemies and stuff, but this the path of least resistance is always, you know, I'm just gonna hang back here and not do anything, because anything else is, the risk versus reward isn't worth it. There's no, like, fun to be had, in my opinion, running in here and doing this as well. It's a common theme also in this mod to have doors into a room, and there's combat waiting for me, and it starts as soon as the doors open. That happens quite a bit. Oh man. Yeah, doors. Guy shooting at me, there's a zombie in there somewhere. Back. And again, no cover to deal with this guy, so you kind of just have to charge at him. And then once I get here, I can kind of cheese it out because of the angles. I forgot about this. Wasn't there grenades? Yeah, there are grenades over here. You can also just like run up here and negate having to deal with this at all. You can just escape it and stuff. I forget what, there's like 2 hidden guys in there. That's why I'm spamming the grenades at them. I don't quite remember what I had notes, and I stupidly left them away from me. I didn't refer to them. I forgot what my notes were on this spot. Yeah, I'm not sure. This is kind of, it's pretty pointless because you're able to get past it so easily, and the giving a crate of grenades to deal with one thing seems kind of silly, and there's no alternative method to dealing with them. There are, you know, these barrels that you can fling at them, but there's no alcoves on the side of the walls to like approach or get closer or anything like that. So once the door opens, you can just run back, and there's, you know, no risk to do that, to get rid of the gun. It's a really weird setup, and I don't know why these are dynamic. They're not dynamic anywhere else. This is also just kind of awkward here. It's serving a singular purpose of providing a path for the player, but there's nothing else in the environment to make this narratively connect to the area. If there were more windows on this side, or there were balconies over there that had stuff set up, even if there is no enemies making use of them or anything like that, it's like, oh, okay, makes sense. It's, you know, rebels making paths for themselves, staying off the streets. And if there's no need for the player to backtrack, I wholly recommend having a one-way a one-way path into the next map. Unless it's really needed. Like, you can unload that entire second map once you're in here. I don't know if it's like a established jargon or whatever, but I learned it as sawtooth, because a sawtooth, you know, is a ramp, and then it's like that, where you can walk up the ramp and then jump down, and then carry on. So if there was a hole in the ground that you jump down into, and you're on the second level, or, you know, if you really want this to be three levels or whatever it is now, just add one more to it. Does that make sense? I don't know. This is where I started making bets on if a door was locked or not locked. And I was rocking like 80% accuracy before, approximately. These spaces there's a whole lack of detailing throughout this entire mod, which is kind of unfortunate. Even things like this, where like floors aren't aligned and stuff, it looks kind of janky. There's a lot of weird things like that. And as I said before, where a lot of the combat does not have phys-ob props to use with the gravity gun, this is kind of a good example of that. Random car in a park. All of these trees are like rotated the exact same way. It's kind of silly. It's probably not noticeable because the trees are pretty decent at being random, I guess. But they are rotated the exact same way. You can tell if you look closely. I don't think the path nodes are set up right for these doorways. Doorways require sort of a special path node setup so that enemies don't try to do the whole Three Stooges thing of all three trying to fit through at one time. So it makes it so they go through one at a time. And it doesn't seem like the doorways are set up that way. Oh, the 3 sniper spot. Yeah, okay. 3 snipers is super overkill. It's, you know, I'm gonna die. That seems it's almost binary gameplay. Oh, I forgot how bad the autosaves are. Autosaves, don't rely on the autosaves if you play this. Quick save a lot. Let's just get back to where I was real quickly. Hopefully this won't take that long. Yeah, so 3 snipers. In my opinion, snipers should be introduced when the player is in a safe spot. So that the player does not accidentally die in one hit. Because that's not really fun. That's frustrating, and I think you should try to, in a general sense, and when I say you, I mean like everybody that is a mod creator. You don't want to frustrate the player unless that's like a core game design mechanic. If you're building, you know, Dark Souls, do your thing, because that's a part of the design, but having stuff that's unfair is kind of not great. And for how difficult Dark Souls is, everything in it is fair. There's nothing that really kind of comes out and slaps you in the face. this comes out and slaps you in the face. So I wouldn't have you approach these head on. If you're coming around at them from a side and then having them shoot a bottle or a bird that flies off or other zombies, just so that when the player gets in this area, they're like, boom, snipers, I know what to do. I need to avoid them, otherwise I'm going to die. Having 3 snipers is superiorly overkill because one shot is like 40 hit points or something, and you're easily gonna die. How I did this the first time, I think Dolmo just like ran up there, and once you get at a sufficient angle where they can't aim down at you, then you can just cheese them out with grenades. You know, just like toss them right in. They can't really deal with that. What I was doing was staying near the grenade crate and just... Even this is kind of sketchy, stepping out, so I was just throwing them over the roof, trying to get it into the windows. Looks like I made one. Nope, I didn't. Did I get it? Alright, that seems to be about it. If you're like, oh, this is not auto step height. This is just super janks. Super janks. Learn those metrics for world building, how tall stairs should be, how tall auto step is. That's very important stuff, and I harp on this every time I see stairs that are out of metric. I think all the stairs in this mod are out of metric, by the way. If you're building something with multiple people, you all need to know and expect this is how tall walls should be, this is how tall stairs should be, this is how tall vents should be, you know? Like, if you get 10 people in a room and tell them to make a room with a hallway, you're going to get 10 different things, but if you give them a document saying doors need to be this tall and this wide and this is how tall walls should be, everyone's building to a set metric. And it's very important. Dolmo got over this and you can like get out of the map. And when he did... Whoops. You know, he like got way over here and you can see all this stuff is textured and it shouldn't be. This all should be no-drawed. Even the underside of this stuff you can't really see. Underside of this building, there's a lot that's not no-drawed. That it really should be. It's wasn't an issue for me. This game doesn't really tax my system very much. But again, it's like best practices kind of thing. Like, if I can't see it, it should be no-drawed. Alright, this place, I remember this well. I'm gonna just throw 12 grenades in there because I can. I'm kind of against letting the player cheese out combat with weapon crates. Specifically like rocket crates and grenade crates. Ammo's a different story. So this is actually almost a decent setup. Well, these things are dynamic. If these things stayed static, like they are everywhere else, then it wouldn't be a problem. If I didn't have infinite grenades, it wouldn't be a problem. If this was slightly forward, and the enemies didn't start shooting at me immediately, like they weren't facing this way, so that when I opened this door, they started shooting at me immediately, and if the enemies had proper kind of assault points, so that they weren't, because they don't have proper hinting anywhere in here, because it's all dynamic anyway, they just straight up like run right at me and try to attack me. If instead, like, there was static cover on these rails so that, you know, have like 2 enemies with their assault points up here, so they stayed up here, and then maybe like an enemy here, and maybe an enemy here, then, again, you give the player the choice, like, all right, I'm going to shoot that guy, I'm going to move into the space, I'm going to deal with the guy up top or a guy down here, you know, depending on what happens. Just leaving the AI to do its own thing is kind of sketchy because it's not the greatest, and you kind of do have a bit of control over where they go and how they act with assault points and stuff. And then again, like, it's 2 rooms, but these guys are just kind of standing around. The guy up top, he was facing away from me. He didn't really know where I was. Whoops. Ah, that was bad. And I think this was actually the one combat encounter that I almost didn't mind all that much. I don't think I made use of this room on the left the first time. I probably didn't see it. It's really hard to see when everything is the same texture. If this had some glass, it might be more interesting, because shooting at enemies through glass, that's breakable, is more interesting than not. But, you know, like, there were enemies up top, and there were enemies down low, so you still make the, decision of, like, who do I kill? Who do I kill now? If this opened up into this room, if the door was just over there instead, you know, and then this was open, this is open, maybe you have, like, a repeated section over here that you can loop around. That way, you know, you can approach them from different angles, they can flank you, you can flank them. It might give this combat encounter a bit more variety. It kind of seems to play out the same no matter which way you approach it currently. Don't remember which door to open. Okay. Rails, door opens, combat space. I haven't really found anyone else making use of this term, and I don't remember where I heard it, but there's a thing that beginning designers kind of suffer from, and it's called room corridor room syndrome. Where you're in a room, we're shooting at people, now combat's over, so we're going through a corridor to the next room where more people are, and corridor is just sort of a nebulous term, which could mean transition space between combat encounters. Making the corridors more interesting is beneficial. I'm not able to engage in this space at all. You can see I'm like continuously, I can't talk. Continuously just like ducking back here because I can't get into this space at all. What are you shooting at? I think he's shooting at zombies. Oh yeah, there's a couple zombies in there. Let me clear out all these enemies here. Right, alright, so how many enemies was that? Like 1, 2, I think like 3 and 4, 5, 6, maybe? Maybe about 6 enemies? So, The beginning portion of this is fine. Like, I like the enemy in there. I'm okay with the enemies up top and the enemy up there that's posted up there. I think if you entered this space, like, the zombies are attacking the Combine and the Combine are attacking the zombies, it would be more interesting. Like, anytime you throw a third faction into combat, it's like, hey, who do I target? You know, who do I want to win this fight? Do I want to shoot all the Combine first, so then I only have to deal with zombies? Do I want to shoot all the zombies first, so I deal with only the Combine? Or do I, like, you know, one Combine, one zombie, so that in equal numbers, so that they're continuously fighting and not prioritizing me as the player? If there was a door in here, opening up this space from here would give me multiple choices of, you know, being out here in the open or being in here in the shop here. There's just, like, opening up the space and letting the player navigate through it, just giving them more options on where to move and stuff. Obviously, having cover in this area would be good. And then, I wasn't too crazy about this thing. Like, you can't break this. These doors were locked. You can kind of shoot into there to kill them, but there's not really a reason to do so, other than to get supplies, I guess. I think maybe that back door is open, actually. I forget. Yeah, there you go. Come on. I missed. Yeah, so if I come around here, and I can see there's Combine up there, there's a Combine in here, and they're all shooting this way at zombies that are filling the space, and I have the choice of, like, going up this alleyway, or I can go through the store, and then climb up, obviously, is a good option, so that, you know, you're free, and any elevated position is gonna be almost entirely safe from zombies, except for the poison head grab guys that can get thrown up there, obviously. But Combine shooting at zombies, zombies attacking Combine. If there's cover in this hallway? If there's cover in this space, and if there's, like, a door through there, I have three choices of getting through to that building right there, and that's obviously this way, or climb up and jump down. Right now, there's just one option. So that's all I got to say about that. And I haven't mentioned it yet, but there is absolutely no soundscape in any of these maps, or ambient generics, that I could determine. If there are ambient generics, they're set way, way down, and I can't hear them. Potentially the same with the soundscapes, but I couldn't hear a damn thing. Oh, I got through it this time. Last time I tried, it didn't happen. Last time I tried, I managed to avoid that one. This whole area is rather bare, obviously. If there were detailing, nothing is really set up from a narrative perspective to kind of suggest that there are predominantly zombies in an area. The combat is just kind of mishmashed together. It's like, here's zombies, here's Combine. There's no really reason for it. But if instead in the first room there's, you know, like dead people or a lone head crab or dead head crab or something, it would kind of put it in the player's head. They're like, there's zombies in this area, not having to deal with Combine so much. And some of these spaces are just unnecessarily huge. Like, I don't know. I'd suffer. Oh, that's right. These stairs. These aren't telemetric, so you have to jump up them. It's super sloppy. This is like binary gameplay here. If I can't jump, and I mess up a jump, I'm dead, because I'm stuck in goo. Forever and ever. Yeah. I guess... Will this work? No, you can't really... Oh. I'm doing this because I don't know where the last autosave was, and I don't want to spend extra time doing this. I'm okay with things like this in general, but when it feels like gimmicky, like a one-off, then it's kind of weird. If you let the player fall, don't trap them in a pit of goo and kill them. That's silly. Like, make it a soft fail. Don't make it a hard fail. It's silly design. I hate binary gameplay. Back on the streets. Doors, entering combat space, no cover. There is this weird bus stop thing over here. I'm gonna try to get through this without dying, hopefully. This combat setup is a bit weird because there's basically a wall partitioning two spaces here, and for some reason the Combine will move to the height that the player is at, so because I'm at a lower height than the wall, they're not trying to attack me, but once I go in here and climb up here, they will climb the stairs again. It's a bit odd. I don't know why that happens. Alright, they're not doing it. No, it hurts, it hurts. No health in here either. The economy of the game is a bit off as well. I didn't really mention this before, but there's a noticeable lack of health stuff. They are using the crates, which is good, decent, because they should auto give you stuff that you need, but sometimes they don't seem to. Like, right now, these won't give me health. I need health, not a bunch of ammo. Just have it be the auto, game determines what it needs to give me kind of a thing. So, yeah, let's try to get through this here. All of the Combine also seem to be the default that have grenades. Lots and lots of thrown grenades in this. And on one hand, it's kind of okay, but also kind of annoying. I think if you're gonna give enemies grenades, like, it should be really purposeful. It does encourage a lot of movement though, which is probably a good thing. No! Guy's stuck behind doors. He can't get to me. Cool. Alright, one last guy. We survived. We still survived. Still alive. Still alive. I died. I'm over it. Let's just get through this here. So, this is, you know, part of that whole repeating theme where the enemies have no cover and they're just shooting at me, and I have no cover and I'm just shooting at them. Obviously, when you have no health, it's a bit more of a janky experience. I think in my blind playthrough, I died a couple times here as well, and I was like, fine, I'm just gonna sort of like Rambo it and actually get into the area instead of stay up there. Since having, you know, large things to kind of run around was beneficial in keeping me alive, rather than being up here trying to deal with them like this. And this is just another thing where if the enemies actually had assault points where they stayed and defended and didn't all run up these stairs, potentially different, potentially. Always playtest. I'm not going to make a proclamation like, yes, that would be better. It seems like it might, at the very least, though. Obviously, if there's stuff that lets me take cover, like on these rails, but there's just no cover anywhere. I don't remember where I need to go. Oh god, get off that ladder. Those are locked. I need to climb up and then go in through the top way. And it's the same thing. Oh, Jesus, that hurt. I think I was like really dying and dead the first time I played this as well, and this is kind of what I did. I had I don't remember. I think I had more assault rifle ammo the first time though. This guy can't go anywhere because there's nowhere for him to go. Enemies can't climb ladders, I guess. Oh my god. Yeah, there's just no cover. Enemies just kind of wander around trying to get positions on you. It's on a global scale. It's just not terribly interesting. Assault points and rally points to kind of hold enemies where you want them to be. Having enemies be staggered, having enemies come in waves, having enemies enter the space in a visual way, would be more interesting. Like, I have no idea where those guys on the bottom came from. It seems like they would be coming up the stairs if they were spawned in while I was up here shooting at these guys, but they didn't come in when I murdered this trio right here. So if you got to here, you know, and there's like a side room where they come in, have them make some noise, have them, you know, play some radio chatter or something so that the player knows, like, reinforcements are coming, it's wave 2. It's fairly standard. And I spent a lot of time, maybe not a lot of time, but I spent like 5 minutes looking for this button to push. I had no idea what I needed to do. There is just like a combine gate up here, and I was like, alright, I need to turn this off, but there's nothing connecting it to any sort of power source. And that's what I'm always hoping for. Like, whenever I come to a gate that seems like, I need to go that way, like, I immediately look for, like, wires leading me to where I need to go, or some kind of logical clue to follow, and this has none of it. This mod, this is kind of only pseudo-puzzle in it as well. There's a couple of other buttons that you need to press, but it's really kind of bare bones, and this mod on a whole also suffers from a pacing problem where it's very... Can I not climb up this ladder? Yeah, you need metrics. Can't climb up that one either. It's very combat heavy, and I think that's fine. Like, if you're just, you know, I'm like learning how to make fun combat and stuff, that's perfectly fine. I think that's okay. You know, make like a small 20-minute mod of like, this is just a combat encounter, that's all it entails. Doesn't have puzzles, doesn't have, you know, slow ramp down areas like after combat to sort of decompress and breathe and stuff. It's perfectly fine in my opinion if you set out with the intention of, I just want to learn how to make fun combat. But this thing has like an hour of gameplay. It's a really pretty beefy mod. If you're making anything over, you know, like 30 minutes or something, like there probably should be like, here's a combat section, here's like a ramp down. Like, find like a difficulty and intensity scale for other things. I don't know if that's the proper term. That's what we used at LucasArts. It was this intensity and difficulty scale. Those are not synonymous. They kind of go together in terms of combat because, you know, if the more difficult combat is, the more intense it can be. But there can also be tension without combat. Like if you are properly foreshadowing hunters, you know, like the hunter battle in the in episode 2 when you're at the radio station. The first time you fight hunters, there's like 5 hunters in that first fight, and it's amazing. It's great. There's lots of foreshadowing. There's lots of, like, you turn around, you see a hunter staring at you, and then it scampers off. There's just so much of that, and it's so great. And it's like a really intense build-up, and there's absolutely no combat before, while all that is going on. And it's really great. I love it. I don't know how Valve deals with these, but I don't know. I feel like if this wasn't a crate, and if it was just like one or two things, if it's just one or two things, if there's 1 or 2 grenades on the ground instead of a crate, because it's not a necessary thing. The grenades are not necessary to deal with the turret. That's what I'm trying to say. So you can pick up the grenades, and then you, again, player choice. The player gets to make the choice, like, hey, I can take out this turret with a grenade, or 2 if I'm kind of bad at throwing, or I don't know how, that, you know, I roll the grenades instead of throw when I do the right click when I'm on the ground, crouching. So the player gets to make the choice of, I can use the grenades to take this out, or I can, you know, try to fling a box at it, or if there's doors or alcoves in the side so that I can try to get closer and just, you know, use the gravity gun to push it away or something. Giving the player multiple choices is a good thing. It's a good thing. And this guy is he's just chilling. Really seems... I'm guessing he spawns in after... I don't know. I'm guessing he spawns... His trigger to spawn him is like way up here or something, but... If you're throwing a grenade at a turret that's like 10 feet away from an enemy, the enemy should know it, right? It seems logical. Where's my Magnum? Didn't I get a Magnum? I thought I did at some point. There's a Magnum somewhere in this mod, I know it. I really didn't like these chain link fences when I played through the first time. Chain link fences in an interior, it's like a sword on the inside of your mouth that, like, every time you kind of move your tongue around, it's like, ah, Jesus, that hurts. And it's kind of like that. It's like, it just kind of bothers me. Not overly painful, and you know, it's not life-alteringly bad or anything, but it's just like, that's all I see. I get tunnel vision and I fixate on it. It's like, oh, fences inside. Why? That makes no sense to me. There's probably some example out there that, like, you know, I'll see it and be like, all right, that makes sense. I can see that, but for vast majority of it, I don't know what you're trying to do with these chain link fences. Was there a door over there? I think this is locked. Yeah. Fences also kind of negate, maybe not really negate, but I can't really effectively use gravity gun for a lot of these situations, and this is one of the rare areas that is well populated with props. Although it's the same props, it's the same boxes and barrels. Like, straight up shift dragon. That's what's going on here. Tables, chairs, and filing cabinets. Doors, maybe? It's the same thing. I think this is kind of near where I just kind of lost it, and I was kind of decided that I probably shouldn't upload my video of my blind playthrough because I just kept on doing the same stuff. It's like, I hate just hiding behind a doorway and shooting at people that are shooting at me, and there's no cover at all for anyone to do anything. Map 4? I forget. The door disappeared! Yeah, map transition is not too great there. Here's the broken thing. This guy dropped a grenade for me. This is, you know, entering a space, combat initiates, like, right when I get out here. More of the same. Like, I'm not really engaging with the space, I'm trying to reduce me taking as much damage as possible. I don't know why you'd give the player so much SMG ammo when it's... Oh, it is these guys, I forgot. So, if I remember correct... No, he's shooting at me again. Or he's shooting at me now. I must have done something weird to somehow break this the first time. It's a really dangerous space. There's enemies all over the space, all over the place, so there's no clear front to engage. There's enemies over there, there's enemies over there, on a raised platform. So again, hiding in this hallway here is kind of optimal strategy. I'm trying to just live. Alright, he's shooting at me again. I don't know what I did. Somehow I broke him. That's alright, though. That's fine. I wanted the health anyway. Whew.
User dead imminent.
Psh, not with that attitude. Lock doors. We need to climb up here and get up here. There's just... It's so blatant. It's like 1990s deathmatch style arena kind of thing, right? Where it's just like nonsensical cover in the environment. Like, I'm grateful that there's actually cover to make use of and stuff, but it's just, it doesn't narratively fit, and it's all this like weird wood stuff. If this just made sense, like, I probably wouldn't dislike this as much as I did. And it's just a small, really small space with a street cobble path thing just going in a circle. Like this, I don't understand what space this is trying to be. It's all high cover as well, which is actually good because the Strider has, you know, the height advantage and can shoot down at you and stuff. But it just looks so 20 years old that I really didn't enjoy it the first time. Like, if this was, you know, like a wall and it was like broken up in the side, then it would make sense that, like, oh, this is like a park or something and the wall is, you know, walling off the street and stuff. Having like a variety of actual cover, not just these giant walls to deal with. And again, like I said, for the first Strider encounter, like having the Strider doing something in the environment rather than just walking around in a circle would make this more interesting to me anyway. The enemies are... It looks like a majority of the enemies are over here, so... I don't know if this door was further back so that it was an actual proper front, so that, you know, I'm way back here and I need to like move my way up, and there's plenty of cover that gives me choice in like how to approach the remaining enemies in here. But when you come out here, there's like one there and there's one there, and the Strider's, who knows where he is because he's just looping around this whole thing. It's just a really odd kind of crafted space here. That is locked. I can't tell how thick these walls are, but they don't look 8 units. They look like 12. That's not a big deal. I always build my walls at 8, though. This is another kind of nonsensical spot thing. Elevator's coming, and while the elevator is coming, enemies just kind of rush at you to kill you. There's no foreshadowing, there's no reason for it other than designer's god hand saying, now you have enemies to deal with. Now I'm gonna die! Let's just play this super safe and wait for them to come around the corner here, because I don't want to die. I don't remember if there's any health in this area. Yeah, just like having, I don't know, like a large gong when you press the elevator button, and then can't shoot through this transparent thing until it opens. It's kind of super jank. Having the, like, a combine chatter sound effect, you know, so that the player knows, like, oh crap, you know, enemies are incoming. Like, small things like that, it seems so insignificant when it's like, I'm in this area for 30 seconds, there's, you know, I'm waiting for an elevator and 3 enemies, or 6 enemies come out and attack you, and that's it, but it's smoothing out the whole experience. Because if you do that, you know, 10 times for 20 different combat encounters, suddenly you're making 30-second thing slightly better turns into I'm making 10 things slightly better, and that's, you know, 10 minutes of combat, or 5 minutes, or whatever. Get away! Get away! I was hoping I would make a shorter video than my 90-minute playthrough, but it seems like I'm still talking the same amount. None of these door jams are clipped as well. I was often doing this. Getting stuck in the crevice. Jesus, this spot. Alright, two things. The weird ladder here. It's overlapping. I don't really care about that. You can fix the whole lighting thing by using an info lighting origin to change, because when a model is lit, it's using the origin of it, and the origin of these ladders are usually in the center, so it's using lighting from, you know, down there somewhere, where it's surprisingly not solid black, but it's still kind of janky lighting. So you can use an info lighting to fix that. Or if you made this a proper width, then, you know, you would only need one to climb up there, and it wouldn't need it. This weird thing, I tried mashing my E button to open this. It doesn't open. I don't remember how I found out, but I found out that I was like, how do I get through this thing? I never thought to use the crowbar, but I did that the first time, and then I died a couple of times out here. This is the one thing that Domo kind of like totally glossed over, and I was like, I hate this so much that I was really upset that he didn't talk about it. And you'll see why here in a minute. Hooray! There's like 4 enemies, and I have absolutely nothing, and I'm exiting from a ladder, and I can't do anything other than run directly towards the people that are shooting at me. And I can't believe Domo didn't say a single word about it. So, you can also, I'm dying here on purpose, you can also break this with the crowbar, which is, Domo figured it out immediately, which is, I was like, oh, mind blown. But yeah, I really dislike... I feel this is a cheap shot, and I really don't like cheap shots because they feel so cheap. Anytime a mod has me like falling from a great height and I'm like taking damage, I'm like, ugh, this again? Seriously? And there's no like health to immediately replenish it. It feels like a sloppy experience. This is super weird. These ladders are weird. Like, I'm not able to dismount automatically to when they're facing geometry in front. I have to press E to dismount off of it. So it's a weird experience. And then I have 4 enemies immediately shooting at me with no information that they're up there. And I died here several times because I was really, really low on health, and there's no health down there in the thing. So I was trying to figure out how to kill these guys, and I tried several different tactics, and nothing. Finally, what worked was this. What I'm doing now is just charging under this alcove and then cheaping it out by playing the angles, and I'm still having a hard time with this. And I think the path to go is through there, and I think one of the times I was like, climb up and immediately start running away. And bothers me so incredibly much. I can't understate this. If you're gonna smack the player in the face, at least tell them it's coming. So if I'm down here and I see like zombies walking past and the Combine are shooting at the zombies, at least it registers in my head like, all right, I'm gonna climb up this ladder and I need to be careful because combat is going on in this space. At the very least, there's zombies in the area where I'm climbing up into. Hopefully it'll also register that like, hey, the Combine are shooting at them, so who knows where they are, but I know they're in the area. These ladders are weird because you have to press E to dismount them, and I've never had to do that in any other mod unless there's like a wall in front of me and you dismount and you slide to the... Why is it not going? There it goes. It like slides you off to the side. I avoid working with ladders in Source for this particular reason. But the ladders are janky. Combined with exiting directly into combat, combined with there absolutely being nothing in cover for me to take cover behind. I don't know what my health was at the beginning of this, but it was like at least 40 or 50 or something. And I just got shredded. And I died here multiple times, and it's super frustrating. And I finally just like charged this one guy on the bottom, and then kind of cheesed those guys out. I ran through here, and there's some antlions that spawn. And I really didn't like this either, because again, there's like no foreshadowing to it. It's just like, surprise! Antlions! It's like the Dexter meme. Surprise, mother antlion. Anyways, all of these antlions are coming up at exactly the same time. That's really weird. I forget which, I think it might have been on Tomb Raider, where there was a specific thing where we're spawning enemies in the same frame that it would actually cause like slowdown in the engine, so we had to offset our spawns by like 1 frame. And eventually like some system was created so that if we call in 2 enemies on the same frame, it will automatically stagger them. And it's not like a big deal. 1 frame difference is kind of hard to distinguish, but it's still really noticeable when they are all spawning at roughly the same time. Like there's no staggering to them at all. This whole area is super janky anyway. With the floating bushes, the weird like this looks like a bombed minefield here. Like these divots are just so huge. Let me try to get this last... Oh no. 60 with 25 shields. And I was down to like 13. That feels bad, man. I really... There's a bug with the I don't know what they're called, the head not the head crabs, the antlions that spit poison at you. There's a bug with them where if you get hit by them, anytime you take damage, your screen flashes white, and for that reason alone, I would say never use them at all. I did get a magnum from somewhere. I knew I wasn't just imagining that. It's you can kind of see it in Dolmo's video, where after this we get dropped into a pit of goo. Spoiler alert. Hopefully I will avoid them. Dang it. Well, I guess we'll be able to see it. 3 of these at one time as well is also really painful, and then having someone shooting at you is also painful. This uses the same poison mechanic, I believe, as the poison head crabs, so if you get hit by one, you do take damage, but you still regenerate it, I think, up to a certain point. But with an enemy shooting at you, you only regenerate up to whatever they hit you. I'm trying to switch. Oh my god, and I have no health. Not to auto-step metric. I have to jump in to get into this pit. Sloppy. Just sloppy. Thank you for the health. Ah, it's not an automatic crate. Killing me here. Alright, so I'm probably gonna die once I get through the... Oh my goodness. Yeah, see, anytime I'm taking damage... Where are you? the screen flashes white. And it's a Valve issue. It's nothing a designer can do about it, but... Well, there's one thing a designer can do about it, and that is not use the antlions that spit poison at you. And this was super amusing to me that Dolmo also did not mention another thing that I super hate. I'm gonna turn on God mode. You'll see why. Because of my low health, and there's not a lot of health here, you'll see why. And hopefully you're seeing why right now. Oh my god, how do you... Can we all agree that that was a good choice? Alrighty then. These doors are the most frustrating doors in the history of doors in Doornania to open. Because of this stupid ramp. I did this many, many times. Try to get in door, nope. Dolmo did it many, many times as well. I was watching, I saw it, and he didn't mention it at all. He's like talking about combat and trying to avoid, trying to duck into these rooms and stuff, and it's like, whoop, got stuck, and he's taking damage, and just did not mention it at all. I was like, how is this possible? I'm glad that there's... Oh, I'm gonna totally die while I'm yapping here. I'm glad that there is these side rooms, but oh my god, no collision on these things is a thing. These doors are super annoying to get into, and it's going to cause deaths, perhaps even in the real world. They're just not fun trying to navigate around them. And I'm going to ignore all these guys. If there's just no cover in this central area, there's like 8 enemies or something that swarm you before the hunter does. And the first time I did this, the hunter was like stuck in this room. Or I don't know if he was in this room, but he was stuck like way down here. And I had really low health because of the previous shenanigans, and I lobbed like 5 grenades at him and mostly cleared it all out. And it was all just not good experience for me personally. This is really weird. I don't understand this at all. This is where I get dropped in the pit. Let's the flashing screen. This probably wouldn't be as bad. There's a ladder around here somewhere. Where is it? Oh my god, I can't see a thing because of the flashy white. These ladders are... Is it still going to flash white? It doesn't. Okay. Because these ladders are at an angle, it's a bit janky to get on them. Maybe if there were... Yeah, so I should be able to, climb up the ladder here, but I don't know. Ladder on diagonal surface, I'm gonna go ahead and say bad. And I have no items or weapons. So it's like, what happened? I don't understand what the purpose of that is. It seems like arbitrary. It's like, surprise, now you don't have any items. But then usually it's like for a reason. Like, I I'm going to give you one weapon, and now you have to overcome the challenge with that one weapon, like rocket launcher or something, or your gravity gun gets turned into something else, but thanks for giving me another crowbar for some odd reason. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. In my mind, it doesn't make sense. Especially since after we get through here, like, I get weapons again. Like, it's just, why? It makes no sense, right? Yeah, it makes no sense. Yeah. So let's get all this stuff. Let's go up here. Let's kill you. These doors are also super weird. You have to smash your face into them to open them. I'm not pressing E to open them. There's kind of weird Star Trek doors. And I'm doing the same exact thing where I'm having to cheese out the combat because there's no cover in the area for me to engage with. Technically, I could probably jump down and do relatively okay, but it's risky and the reward is not worth it. If there was like a health station right there, I'd be way more likely to jump into the space, just be like, I need health, Rambo, and, you know, deal with the enemies. Okay, this is another spot where I had no idea what I was supposed to do for a while. I went through all the rooms. This guy doesn't know I'm here again. I was trying to, like, mash these things, looking for vents behind them. I also really hate stairs like that, just for whatever that's worth. Yeah, I was looking for, like, a button to press, and there's a random button in here. Like, there's nothing connecting this to any other spot where I need to go. It's all just arbitrary placement. And it bothers me. Surprise! I can't believe I'm playing through this again. What was I thinking? All for the sake that... all for the sake that I felt I was too hard on the designer for the first time. I don't know what this guy has made before. I don't know if they've made anything. I don't know if this is their very first thing. Someone else, another comment was like saying that I should appreciate people's you know, hard work, and that's very true. Releasing a mod takes a lot of time, and when I bash the hell out of it because I don't like it, whoops, I tried to change to a gun that I don't have. It's not an attack on the person, and I'm not trying to diminish the amount of time and effort that you've put into something, but we're not in kindergarten. I'm not handing out participation trophies. I'm not putting a gold star by your name. Like, I'm just critiquing your work. It's nothing personal. I don't think you're a bad person. Don't even know what kind of person you are. And, you know, if you... Oh, wait. It's this way. Right? Run away. Run away. If you go to a restaurant and you get, like, a bad meal, you don't think, like, well, you know, the chef worked hard on this. I should appreciate that. And it's like, no, you send it back and you complain that your hamburger is pink in the middle or whatever, right? Might not be a suitable comparison because this is a free mod, but I'm still spending time on it, and if that's a justification to release subpar work, then you probably shouldn't be doing anything creative as a career. Be an accountant or something like that. Dolmo really liked this, that the turret was... I just knocked it out of position. Knock over. That the turret was behind a chain link fence, and I do not. I disliked this greatly. It's a little bit of a slap to the designer, or to the player. I can't use grenade. Well, I guess I could maybe possibly do that, but I can't throw a grenade at it. Obviously, like right in the alcove, it's pretty easy to hit if this wasn't here. I can't use my gravity gun because I don't have a gravity gun. Even if I did have a gravity gun, I couldn't because this chain link fence is here. You're forcing the player to like, I need to like run over here as fast as possible or I'm dead. And with 2 enemies and a turret shooting at you, that's probably likely. There's no real time to kind of assess the situation of like, oh crap, I really need to avoid that. If this came out at a 90-degree angle from this side, that would change the dynamic like entirely, because I'd have time maybe to like cheese out the enemies, and it's like, alright, I still got the turret to deal with, and then you just kind of like sprint past it or something. I don't know, but I wasn't crazy with that. La la la. I'm low on health and I regret nothing. Whoops. Now I'm even lower on health. I tried to switch to a shotgun that I don't have as I threw this thing into a wall right next to me. Gimme. Yeah. Alright, and this is the final encounter, and I'm turning on God mode because you'll see why in a minute. There is no health in this area at all. Aside from the station, apparently. There's no pickups, and this will only get me to, I guess, to 85. Or so. Oh, it's only 50. Interesting. Alright. Yeah, so this goes back to the Strider battle where I was complaining about the park, the one that's just the second Strider battle, where it just looks like a deathmatch arena. Like it's very symmetrical. The cover is just kind of nonsensical. It's just walls. Lots of weapon crates. Like I don't really think that much is needed. You're either gonna live or die in this. And I think I died a couple times before I turned on God mode. Goodness, come on. I'm trying to just get through this so that I can talk about it. We're at the end here. We're done. Yeah, so 8 enemies plus 2 hunters in this really small area. I really feel like hunters are used kind of not great in a vast majority of mods that come out nowadays. It's just like a really small area or in a wide open area that they don't have like space to move around in. I'm just gonna end this so that the music will go away. Enemies coming in from both sides means just there's no combat front, and I don't have cover for it. If there was foreshadowing to enemies entering the space that I can deal with, that might have gone smoother for me the first time I played it. It still seems just kind of a bland ending battle. Like, I don't know what I'm resolving. I'm not like I'm technically getting into a portal or something at the end there, but it's just kind of disconnected. But from a combat design perspective, like everything entering the space at the same time. Obviously, there's like wave 1, wave 2, and then the 2 hunters would be wave 3. But like each wave is entering all at the same time. There's no staggering. They're not really posting up at cover points. It's a really small room, so there's really probably no reason for them to be using assault points and stuff. But if there's just staggered enemies that the player can make the choice of like, this enemy's closer, so I'm going to switch the shotgun and kill him. This other enemy is further away, so I'm going to do, the magnum or the crossbow to snipe them, or they're at like a long range but closer a little bit, so I'm going to use the AR, just like you're giving the player a lot of tools and then to use effectively, but then the combat isn't built very well to capitalize on letting the player like have to choose between using which tools to make. It's just all kind of there. Yeah, so that's it. That's basically it. This still turned out to be, oh my god, it's even longer than my first playthrough. It's 1 hour and 42 minutes. My first one was 90 minutes. I talked too much. Yeah, download link is in the description. I'm not trying to crap on people's effort and achievement of releasing a mod. That's always something to be proud of, whether you're just learning or whether it's, your 10th thing. Like, there's a monumental amount of time that goes into releasing these things, and that should always be something to be proud of. I just think that this one could have been better. That's it. Until next time, Toxicville is coming out soon, hopefully. There's a ton of entries, so it's probably going to take a little bit longer for them to put that all together. Maybe like 2 weeks or something from now. So until then, take care. Bye-bye.